Hello guys, welcome to another video. Today I will talk about something interesting for the Walking Dead fans. 9 years since it started and 2 years since it ended. Clementine, one of the main characters from Telltale The Walking Dead, will return in a comic book based on events happening right after the final season, and it will be canon. It has been teased a couple of times by Robert Kirkman. One of the teasers was a simple postscriptum in his comic from last year based on Negan, which in the same fashion was teased at the end of the main comic. Since then, we got a cover for the comic which was questionable based on how it was received by the game subreddit, and now Skybound has released the first 2 pages of the comic among other teasers for their projects. I'm going to show you the 2 pages and at the same time explain what I understand going through it. This is the first page, consisting of 7 panels, and this is the second page consisting of 3. In the first panel here we can see Erickson's boarding school for troubled youth, almost exactly as we remember it from the final season, maybe with some differences. For example, I have no idea what this wall is, and this flagpole shouldn't be here. Going to the second panel, we have AJ sleeping in his room, in Clementine's room. The sun is coming out. The window isn't supposed to be here. We all remember that it is supposed to be in the middle of the room, the desk in front of it and the beds on the sides. Whatever, I have no idea why the author decided to make this change, but yeah, let's go down to the third image. We have the disco broccoli toy, Clementine's hat with some modifications, I would say, because if those are the blood marks are supposed to be on the other side, and here we should see a tearing in the hat. We also see how Clementine is trying to teach AJ how to write and read. We know she also did that in the final season. Now, in panel number 4, we see Clementine coming down the stairs with her new wooden leg, because as we remember, she lost her leg during the final season episode number 4. And yeah, of course, with her crutches and sound effect. She comes down the stairs, she looks back, because of course she left her room. The sun is coming out. She walks in the courtyard, sound effects from her crutches, of course. Now another view of the cover, because as we remember, she also had backpack, her crutches, water bottle, and the cover was from the side, and of course her knife if she encounters any walkers. And she walks towards the exit of the compound. Clementine, page number 2, comes out of the compound. The walker is trying to get her, but it is unable due to it being impaled in this spike trap. Sound effect as she closes the door, and she walks towards the forest in panel number 3. And the sun continues to rise. Now I'm going to show you what was talked about during the Skybound Expo in the next segment, but first I want to address a situation which left me concerned after I saw the covers for this comic, and now it is a bit controversial on the main game subreddit and on YouTube, of course. That would be Clementine's face design. I'd lie if I said I wasn't disappointed, because I expected her design to look like Rick's design in the Walking Dead main comic. Now, I also found a fan art or a fan comic page from this dude, which looks, in my opinion, a lot better. I was really disappointed when I saw her design, but then I found out that the author and the artist for this comic usually draws her faces this way, in a minimalist way. So we shouldn't expect much when it comes to how her face looks. We should expect a lot from the story. Now let's get to the segment I talked about.
Individual stories. Tilly, let's start with you. So you're the first person to bring Clementine, one of the most popular Walking Dead characters ever, to life in a short story. So how did that come together? And I have to imagine there's just a little bit of pressure, just a little bit. People kind of like her. So what is that responsibility like?
There's some pressure. There's pressure, but luckily, now that I've played all the games multiple times, I also am like an extreme fan of Clementine, and I would also hurt someone who hurts her. So I sort of identify now with the people who take her story so seriously. But how it came about was it similar to Skybound X, just kind of landed in my inbox one day, where there was some questions about Clementine and some questions about her future. And of course, that led me to playing all the games and becoming a huge fan and really thinking about, like, is this something that I can do? Is this something I can handle? This is it's a project unlike anything I've ever done before. But I ultimately came to the decision that I love her and I feel like I can do my best for her. So I hope that I'm coming from a good place. But yeah, as a project, how it actually came together, I'm not going to say too much because I'm definitely going to give something away if I keep talking. But all in all, there's a ton of pressure working with Clementine, but it's mostly just a ton of fun because there's a reason she's everyone's favorite, and there's a reason she deserves to be in more stories. And I'm just honored that I get to be a part of it. And also, it's like I'm working with Clementine, but also there's a lot of other people who have had relationships with her for a long time on board and a part of this too. So it's a team effort, I think, bringing Clementine back.
Awesome. Now, before I, ask you another question about Clementine, maybe we can get some teases here. We actually have some images that I want to get thrown up on the screen here. I think we got 2 pages from your story that we get to show for the very first time. There we go. Boom. Look at that.
Whoa.
All right.
Look at that.
Nice.
Holy
Who's
smokes.
that?
Yeah. Can you tell us anything about what we're looking at? Yay or nay?
I'm not going to tell you anything, but I will say that if you've played the games and then you read this story, you're going to understand some things.
Okay. All right. Well, this kind of transitions me. Oh, here we go. We got another one here. Okay. What about this? I'm assuming nothing. Nada. Can't say a dang thing.
All
She's
I can
smiling.
say is I hope the best for her. She's smiling. Clementine doesn't smile that much. Yeah. No, my lips must stay sealed. But if I turned my camera around and you saw the rest of my office, a lot of spoilers. So the camera is staying right here, and no one can see beyond it because you would all figure everything out.
Okay, so this is the last thing I'll try to pull out of you. The last thing I promise. So obviously, this is a major moment for Walking Dead fans. But can you, tease me? Is this your only story you're doing with her? Is it possibly in the future you might get a second story with her? Are you going to revisit Clementine? Yeah or nay? I don't know.
What do you think?
Honestly, I know you're not going to say anything. I'm just trying to see if we could read your facial expressions.
Just, hang in there.
All right. Well, awesome.
It's less likely after all those comments that made me feel old. I'll say that.
Well,
Damn
there you
it.
go. There's our boom, confirmed, but not confirmed by the man himself, right?